Ever tried watching a blockbuster movie on a big screen and felt like the picture was still missing that wow factor, or spent an evening gaming only to notice the motion blur ruining the immersion? It's frustrating when you've invested in a decent living room setup, yet the TV just can't keep up with the detail you expect. I felt that exact irritation until I stumbled across a display that finally seemed to bridge the gap between what we see on a cinema screen and what we get at home. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I'm talking about is the Samsung 85-inch Class QLED 8K QN800D Neo Quantum HDR TV. At first glance, the sheer size alone makes a statement, nearly a wall of pure, vivid color, and underneath it, the Quantum Matrix Pro technology with mini LEDs handles lighting so precisely that dark scenes get deeper blacks without the usual blooming. One of the biggest perks for me, especially as someone who watches a lot of 4K content, is the AI upscaling that actually takes those 4K streams and pushes them toward true 8K resolution. You'll notice finer textures on a nature documentary, like the individual strands on a leaf, without the image looking artificially sharpened. The AI motion enhancer does a solid job keeping fast action scenes crisp. I tried a recent racing game and the movement felt smoother, almost like the TV was predicting the motion before my eyes caught up. If you love movies with surround sound, the built-in Dolby Atmos paired with object tracking sound plus means the audio feels anchored to what's happening on screen. Watching an action film, fireworks burst from the side of the screen and the sound literally follows the visual, creating a more immersive experience that makes you feel like you're in the theater rather than on a couch. For sports fans, that translates to a clearer sense of where the crowd noise is coming from, cheering from the left, a referee's whistle from the right, so the whole broadcast feels more lifelike. Another practical benefit is the Real Depth Enhancer Pro. When you're binge-watching a series with layered set designs, the TV gives the picture a subtle sense of depth that makes foreground and background elements pop without being distracting. I found that this feature makes even standard HD content feel less flat, which is handy when you're watching older shows that weren't originally mastered for HDR. The NQ8AI Gen 2 processor ties everything together, handling everything from color accuracy to upscaling without noticeable lag, so you can switch between streaming apps, gaming consoles, and live TV seamlessly. The smart side of the TV is also worth a mention. Alexa is built in, meaning you can dim the lights, fire up a streaming app, or check the weather just by talking to your TV remote. It's a small convenience that adds up over the course of a day, especially if you're juggling a family and want to control the entertainment hub without getting up. Now, let's talk honestly about what works and where it falls short. On the plus side, the picture quality is genuinely impressive. Those deep blacks and bright highlights hold up even in a well-lit living room, and the upscaling does more than just stretch pixels, it actually adds believable detail. The sound system, with its object tracking, makes a noticeable difference when you're watching content mixed for Dolby Atmos. And the built-in voice assistant means fewer extra devices cluttering the coffee table. As for the downsides, the size does demand quite a bit of wall space and may feel overwhelming in smaller apartments, and while the interface is generally smooth, the TV's firmware updates can occasionally introduce a brief hitch that needs a restart. Those are the only real hiccups I've run into so far. If you've been wrestling with a TV that looks good but never quite delivers the depth, clarity, or sound immersion you need for movies, games, and sports, the Samsung 85-inch QN800D might be the answer you've been waiting for. It's a big screen that finally lives up to its promise of an expansive, lifelike viewing experience without forcing you to overhaul your entire setup. The price reflects the premium features, but if you're ready to upgrade to an 8K display that actually makes use of that resolution, it's worth the investment. Thanks for hanging out and hearing my take on this massive QLED. If you're curious to see the specs up close or want to pick one up for yourself, remember the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Catch you next time.